Hello everyone on the internet, thanks for tuning in.
And welcome to another episode with me, Maswada Bushido, and my Toku Bros on the other side. It's Flayvaman!
Superhero timer!
Of all, of all your options, why?
Well, because it's
Why?
one that they don't actually do on the show, but they do it in the intro.
Anyway, so while I'm absolutely scarred and horrified, yes, we are on another fortnightly episode of Toku Talk, where we talk about the past, present, and future of Toku news. And to kickstart us off, go for it, thy Flayvaman.
Alright, Kamen Rider goes.
Oh, and just to mention, I'm still mad though. You know that, right?
Brilliant. Kamen Rider Ghost. Okay, I think I'm actually somewhat liking it. It's
No,
kind
no,
of
okay,
getting
okay.
a bit more
See,
interesting. There's a bit more happening going on. But I'm still feeling it could be better.
here's the thing. The past two episodes, so this one and the last one, without giving too much.
Just for a touch of a spoiler alert, we're
Okay,
going to be
so
talking about episodes 18, 19, and 20.
yep.
You've
So
seen 20? Okay, cool.
for the viewers at home, yep. So those are the episodes that we have just watched, and we are just talking about it now. I am going to try my hardest not to give too much spoilers, but what I will say is using the monster that covered that story as an how can I say, main focus, that paint monster.
You're talking about 18. I mean, what actually happened in episode? No, because it's 19 and 20, the paint monsters.
Yeah, that's
What
my
was
point. So hang on a minute. My point is that using that as an indicator of where we're talking about. I did not like the story of that paint monster, but what I did, hang on a minute, but what I did like though is right at the end of 20, that twist, right at the end of 20 of who we see was really
No, we
interesting.
see him throughout the episode. We see him throughout episode 20, to be fair. Because we
No,
see him right at the beginning, and then we see him right at the end.
no,
We
no,
do
no,
see
no,
him
no,
at
no,
the
no, no,
beginning.
no, no,
We
no,
do
no,
see
no.
him at the beginning.
I'm talking
But
about someone else.
The revelation of Spectre was actually, I was a bit like, okay. Because, right, when it comes to episode 18, I'll actually be honest, I can't remember anything about it. It must have been some sort of filler app. But I do remember, like, a bit more about the sciencey girl.
Well,
And then you got
the
19 and
whole
20,
concept of
which was the two-parter with the paint monster. Which, I'll be honest, even during episode 19, I was like, alright, this has got a bit of a Super Sentai feel to it. Because I think like a lot of fans, I see like Kamen Rider as a sort of more mature version, the more
yeah,
mature Toko, and then Super Sentai is more kiddie.
yeah,
Whereas I'm now feeling that, it's sort of, I mean, I guess,
reversed,
kind of, no, not reversed, but it is like Kamen Riders,
toned down.
trying to becoming more like Super
Mm,
Sentai and trying to be a bit more kid friendly.
yeah.
Like again, I think Super Sentai is still kid friendly, so it's like it's been reversed. I mean, Super Sentai is still Super Sentai, but Kamen Rider's now trying to be a bit more like Super Sentai.
Yeah, agreed.
But I was feeling all right. This is kind of feeling a bit more, like it felt like a monster of the week from Super Sentai.
Yeah.
It was like, it's the adorable monster of the
See,
week because they do this in Super Sentai once in a while,
here's the
and
thing.
they've now done it in Kamen Rider Ghost. And
Did you think? See, here's the thing with this whole two-parter paint monster thing. It felt like, as you mentioned rightly, I agree that it was a very Super Sentai nod, heavy nod to it, if you will. In the it was
It's
like,
like it's trying to mimic.
agreed. In the oh, do you want to be my friend? Spoiler warning. And the whole 2, 3 episodes in general as well was based around the whole oh, friendship is magic kind of thing. In that of a sort of, not trying to say that in a My Little Pony style kind of thing, but
But like specifically in episode 20, it reminded me, Rose, so like about 3/4 of the way through episode 20, I'm like, you know what, I'm pretty sure this is a similar vibe to Go Onja. So I did, you know, because again, like he's all crying and shit. It's like, really? Do they really need? They really need to
No,
add that
if
sort of
anyone was crying in Goonjo, it was me watching it.
Brilliant.
Yeah. But no,
I'll
honestly, if you
also
know what,
say that
if you know what I mean, without trying to give anything away, right at the end of 20, who we see right at the end,
you
that
mean the guy in white, right?
ooh, hang on, you have a girl in white.
Yeah.
No,
She's the girl
yeah, she's
who
the girl.
had Makoto and
No,
Kanon
I'm talking about the
as
other.
kids.
No, I'm talking about the other commander.
This is it because I mean I've seen it, but you know I remember them all sat around at
Right.
the end.
Okay, so let me just, for the viewers' benefit, because we have the viewers would have already, if they're up to date, they would have seen Alan's father, the head of the table.
Oh yes, no, I've actually just realised because I think I already mentioned this.
Right. Anyway, just 2 seconds. 2 seconds. So you got Alan's father's the head. You've then got Adel, Alan. So Adel being Alan's elderly brother. You got Alan, and then you got.
The girl
I
who
can't.
kind of took no, it's the woman who took Makoto and
Which
Kanon in as
yeah,
children.
which is Alan's sister,
But
as well,
I
if I'm not
know who
mistaken.
you're talking right at the end. The
Yeah,
guy who
yeah.
turns up.
And there's
He turns
one,
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
and there's one other person that comes in, which I was like, wait, where did this come? And it's that moment that I
No,
feel.
because I knew. I'll be honest. I knew that was coming up because I read it on JE Fusion.
No, I didn't.
But
See, I am glad A, I didn't know, and B, this is the spark I needed for me to finally get some kind of interest in.
no, you see what? Because again, because the point you're talking about, I was expecting that, but the one that I didn't expect was probably a couple of minutes before that scene where you got Makoto's revelation. I was a bit like, all right,
Yes,
they're taking this from
yes,
Super Sentai. I'll be
yes.
honest. One, I felt they took it from Super Sentai, and two, I was like, all right, that even though on one hand they took it from Super Sentai, but on the other hand, I think it's going to be interesting. But
No,
at the same time,
I
I
know
think
what you
they're
mean.
just going to do
Does that
exactly the same thing.
revelation feel like a slight nod to Go Buster slash Tokuja?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, to Go Busters, Beat Buster. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, I'll
They've
give.
taken it from
Yeah,
that, in my opinion.
yeah.
I will say as well, again, sort of going that Super Sentai route, which again, I'm not, I feel very mixed about it, more negative than positive. But I've got to be honest, Canon really does my head in. I don't like this character. Yeah,
It's getting to that very peppy, annoying peppy style, if that makes sense.
no, like, I mean, alright, girly's one thing, just sort of pointless and weak
Mm.
comes to mind. Like, she just, like, she starts hugging Makoto and stuff, and I'm just like, what is her actual purpose in this story?
Right. Well, either that, but even still, even with the that last sequence, I am curious as to where that goes now. Though, for the next couple of episodes, I want to see.
I'm not, because he's either betraying
Yeah.
Ghost or he's betraying the Ganmon.
Here's the thing. In the next couple of episodes, it would show us as a whole whether Ghost is if it progresses or if it plummets.
Oh well.
Anyway,
So, any more about Ghost?
we did get to see a nice what do you call it? Token boost. I love
the Musashi.
Yeah, token boost with Musashi. The red on red looked perfect. I love that.
Red,
Yeah,
but
we
it's
did
alright.
see Spectre with Edison, which I thought was an interesting color
No,
combination.
that's been done before.
When you nicked it, yeah, you're right. It has been done, but it's nice to actually see. I like that. It's almost like, and most likely we did mention this at the near beginning. It almost felt like a rip-off to Gaim, but a very like interchangeable suit, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
well, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but I also liked how I think it was in episode 20 where that's my phone. I liked how in episode
How
20,
convenient that
I
it's
know good
Musashi's
luck
one
though.
as well, and we're just
Yeah. Anyway, no, but I was going to say I liked how they somehow made it that Takeru talks to the icons that Spectre has.
Nobunaga.
Because because I was thinking it'd be, I was wondering how they'd be able to work that in, and they managed to do that at least.
Mm. But that means he still has to talk to Houdini and Tutankhamun in due course.
I guess.
Mm.
And
So
whatever one Necrom has, Grim and whatever.
Grim and
Sansa, I think?
Sanzo. Well remembered.
Right, so should we roll them?
After you.
Right, okay, I'll take a few minutes to talk about Bima Satragaruda.
Can I
Okay,
scream it? Can I scream it?
but they don't scream it. I've told you this a million times off camera. They don't scream it in the show.
So they don't go Bima. Okay.
No, he goes Bima, but that's it. Anyway, so Bima Satragaruda, I am on episode 14 at the moment. I've sort of stalled a bit this week. That's because I've got other crap going on. Anyway, so Bima Satragaruda, from where I talked about last time, I'm still liking how, again, rather than the Toei route of just attacking the general public, the Rasputin villain, the Voodoo Kingdom, I love how they're not just randomly attacking the public like, mainly Super Sentai does. They seem to be like aiming for certain industries, like, oh, we're going to attack the food industry, we're going to attack the banking industry.
Seriously.
And then, like, I like how, because it seems more coordinated, it seems like they've put a bit more thought into it. And, it's not perfect still. There are still like a couple of plot holes, and the acting seems to have gotten a touch wooden, if I'm honest. So again, they've still got that. I still love that human element, that sort of general conversation, but it almost feels like it's fitted to the episode. But I'm also liking the fact that they don't have like real arcs per se. It's like, they're doing this, they're doing that. It's all sort of like the ends justifies the means sort of thing. But in terms of
how do you mean by that? So that is explained. Okay, we move on.
kind of, but it's like the way I mean it is that you see how the main villain, the main general Rasputin thinks, and then but then where he criticizes his commander, the Iron Mask, he then moves on and he's explaining, like one of the other industries they attacked was like the energy industry. It's insane. But in terms of arc, I have started on the Azazel arc, and this is basically, it's a bit of a spoiler, but
Azazel.
Azazel, I don't know.
No,
But
you actually pronounce it as Azazel.
I think they pronounce it Azazel. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, so you kind of get a revelation, like, you've got Bima, who's Ray, and then you've got his sort of adoptive brother, Randy. He says to him, oh, I reckon you've got a connection with the guy who gave you that power, the guy who's called Mikhail. And then he gets captured, and then he becomes Azazel, or however you want to pronounce it.
Azazel.
Right, I'm sure they pronounce it Azazel. Anyway, so... yeah, so they capture him, they make him Azazel, and then it kind of takes a real bit of twist to where, it's like, because Iron Mask is like, look, we've captured Mikhail, let's kill him now. And then in a very sort of typical Dr. Evil moment, it kind of made sense. You've caught him, kill him now, but instead of killing him, he keeps him alive.
For $1 million.
No, but I don't mean that reference to Dr. Evil. I mean, sort of, when they've got Austin Powers, it's like, look, I've got the gun, I can shoot him now. And he's just like, Dr. Evil's like, no, that's not how we do things. That's what Rasputin did. And it's really, I'm just like, oh my goodness, kill him there. But what he does, he puts like, I think a yellow power stone or a black power stone into him. and makes him his new commander. And he just, even though Iron Mask is like, yes, Your Highness, every 5 minutes, he dismisses Iron Mask. It's like, this is typical, cliche villain era, schoolboy era. Because Rasputin, up until that point, was very calculative and very, again, he was the one saying, oh, we should attack their energy, we should attack their oil, we should attack their banking. But then he keeps, Mikhail alive. It doesn't make sense. But nonetheless, he keeps him alive. He puts the Power Stone to him. He becomes Azazel. And the actual fight sequences that he has are actually really good. Like, he fights Iron Mask in the Kingdom when they start, like, arguing about tactics or something. And then, then he does have fights with Bima. And those are also really good as well. And obviously this puts a conflict into Ray. He's just like, who is this guy? And yeah, I think, there's also a bit of a side plot with Randy and the journalist woman. And I'm just like, I don't care about that, but she's hot. Anyway, so that's me wrapping up Bima. Let's try and talk about Cougar.
Right, so I have tried to endure in watching, or trying to get back into it and watching the 3rd episode and I have found it slightly interesting that it wasn't as snoring than the first 2 that I've, boredom, snoring kind of thing, than I feared. So I will gallantly try to continue on.
Well, I think you should, because I think, at the end of the day, Cougar's not perfect. And again, you've got to remember, this is the revival as the theme.
Yeah, it does. It does say that. It
really does brag. It's like, you're not just talking about ancient civilization, you're talking about the revival of Cougar.
It's literally the biggest Easter egg. Like, yeah, there you go. Shove it in there with you.
Honestly, they didn't need to do that, but I guess they felt they had to. I will say, I'm finding a lot of plot holes, to be honest.
Hang on a minute, but you're fairly into it though, aren't you? So what I will ask is, without spoiling it, because I'm aware that you've seen the Pegasus form and the Dragon form and the Titan form, if I recall.
I mean, right, I'll say weapon-wise. I mean, because you've got the Red, who doesn't...
No,
really
Red's default.
Yeah. I've seen, like, he has a rod form, he has a bow and arrow form, and he has a sword
form. One second. Okay. The green one with the crossbow gun, that's Pegasus. The blue one with the rod, that's Dragon. That's Dragon.
Yeah, Azure Dragon.
Yeah.
And then
the sword one. The sword one is Titan.
They haven't established a name for it yet.
Okay.
Because I'm up to episode 13.
I'm pretty sure it's Titan, anyways.
Again, they haven't established a name yet.
Anywho.
But, again, I'm sort of finding, because you had, like, that teenage girl whose father was killed by the guy who's going to end up being the main villain. I'm not supposed to know that yet, but I know it. So, she just ends up joining the Gaijin, because there's a Gaijin in this. Just a random guy, I don't know who he is. So she ends up being random Gaijin's assistant. They kind of.
What's his name? Robert.
No, not Robert Baldwin. It's not Robert Baldwin. It's some other random. I mean, talking about Gaijins in Toku, I should have mentioned this when we started talking about Ghost. But seeing as we're talking about Kamen Rider right now, there is a Gaijin in Ghost. What's his name? He appears as. There is a Gaijin in there. Right, if you watch Ghost, again, there is a Gaijin. I can't remember what his role was. But the Gaijin in Ghost is actually the same Gaijin they use in Garou.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that, the head of the office guy, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, him. Yeah, it's the same Gaijin that they use in Garou. I mean, I swear these guys...
Which Garou?
He's in Zero, and he's in the one just gone, Goldstorm Show.
Okay.
No, he only appeared in 1 or 2 episodes
he
of Goldstorm
looks-
Show. He was the main villain in Zero.
He looks familiar from a Sentai series as well as that same style of guy.
No, he looks like Willem Dafoe. No, that's why you think he looks
No,
familiar.
no, from a Super Sentai series, he looks like.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'd have recognised it. Because Robert Baldwin appears in Sator.
No, I'm not talking about
That
Robert Baldwin.
guy who's a ghost also appears in Garrow. But coming back to Cougar now, you know, there is a Gaijin who's like the assistant to the computer girl, but then he has his own assistant because he's like looking at all the artifacts and shit. Again, yeah, I think it's quite amusing when Gaijins appear in like Toku. You know, why not? I mean, I think I've only ever seen like 1 or 2 Kurojins, to be fair, but anyway. So coming back to Cougar, you know, like just the way that like sometimes like Cougar just comes riding in on his bike just randomly. It's like how when there's an episode where they're at the school. It's like, how did he know they were at the school? And then, all right, you know, this isn't too much of a spoiler, but when at the end of the day, you've got to realise that Cougar is an ancient power. So why does he need his motorcycle handle to get that purple sword? It doesn't make sense.
It's almost like how Fies took that off Cougar kind of thing, if that makes sense. Like the motorcycle handle, he pulls it out and he gets his sword.
That's the difference, though, because Fies' power was made by Smart Brain, who was current. So they were currently developing that as that was. Whereas this is an ancient power. He takes something modern, like the motorcycle handle, and makes a sword out of it. It doesn't make sense. It's a massive plot hole. And again, just like he turns up at the school and shit, it's like...
No, but then bearing in mind, though, that Cougar also revolves around your thoughts and... what is it?
No, to an extent.
Because if I recall, that's why... No, that's why Cougar's default red is because of anger and aggression kind of thing, sort of, in that's he turns red. But whereas when he was weak and he didn't know what he was doing, he was white.
White. Oh, okay.
If you see where I'm going with that.
No, alright, because have you seen Azure Dragon yet?
Not yet, and I haven't
seen
Pegasus.
Okay, no, alright, because even though you've not seen it yet, you do actually make a good point, because the way he gets his weapon from the rod is also in a similar vein, but I don't know, I guess what you've said actually makes sense, even though you haven't even seen it yet, so okay.
But they do mention that it's, they mention in episode 2 though, that it's about, you think it, and that, you know.
How is it you're only on episode 3 and you understand this better than I do? But fine, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's alright.
Dude, because I'm me.
Brilliant. Right, so shall we roll on?
Yeah.
Right, so I'm going to be talking about episodes 3, 4, and 5 of Dino Supercharged.
Which is a sequel to Dino Charge!
Oh, you actually got it out of the box. You actually got it out of the box. The value has plummeted on that now, man. Do you play with that?
Well, while you're talking, I can.
No, you're paying attention. Right. So, no, seriously, put that down. Lol. Alright, so, episodes 3, 4, and 5. I actually, you know what, this is where I'm actually, even though I kind of dismissed episodes 1 and 2 for just, like, being a merchandise ploy, I actually think they've done quite well story-wise. Like, I'm actually feeling you've got Kyoryuja here, and, Dino Charge was, like, very here. But Big Dino Supercharge has actually taken it up a bit, and I'm actually enjoying,
more than Kyoryuja.
I'll be honest, I'm actually enjoying Dino Supercharge more than I enjoy Kyoryuja.
That's saying something.
Simply because, you've got a bit more character. Bear in mind they're bringing over the characters from the previous season, which again they seem to be making that a thing now. I'm actually, with the character development, it makes a lot of difference. I guess, because like when I talk to other people online about sort of Mighty Morphin, I tend to talk, we seem to end up talking about the character development because, like, Jason, Trinity, Zack were only in it for like 1.5 seasons, whereas Rocky, Aisha, and Adam were in it for about 3 whole seasons. So, giving Dino Charge its chance, I'm seeing the character development, and I actually am quite impressed. Because there was the episode where the Black, I mean, I think it's a bit weird that they showed the Black Ranger actually going on a date, because it's not it's not normally a PR thing to do. You see Ian from Kyoryuger going on dates, and you kind of dismiss it. But for PR to do that, that's like quite outlandish in my opinion. But I felt it brought about some, you got to see a different side to him. I'm trying to remember his damn name. I forget. Anyway,
But the thing is I like though, just by hearing that though, I like how the directors of Supercharge are actually trying to meet as close as possible to its original counterparts, if that makes sense.
But that's the thing, though. I don't think they are. It sounds like they are because again, it's the Black Ranger as
You're
well.
going on a date. That's how I'm hearing it, though.
No, again, I mean, all right, yes, that is kind of what Ian would do, but I don't feel they're necessarily trying to match the original. If anything, the opposite. I kind of like how it's gone in its own direction. I mean, because I can't remember which one of the 3 episodes, but they bring in the commander. I think his name was Engulf from Kyoryuger. He's the guy who was like, he had like a red. He was like the superior to Doggold in Kyoryuger. Like Chaos made an emotion that was more superior to Doggold's. Yeah, Endolf, right?
The candle guy.
Yeah, and they bring him in, and he still does the whole headache thing, but I like. It's very contrasting because in Kyoryuger they set it up as Duggold and him being enemies from the off because he's a superior emotion to Duggold, but in Dino Supercharge he arrives on Earth on a random asteroid. Typically. He then meets up with their new general, who's Heckle and Snide, and like Heckle likes him, but Snide doesn't. But then but Fury, he's called Fury in Dino Supercharge. He's kind of curious at first, but then he dislikes it.
Just for my reference, Heckle and Snide, who's
right. I mentioned this in the last topic talk. Basically, Heckle and Snide is the new general because you are in Dino Charge. You had the robot Sledge. He was just like some American original general.
Right.
Right, but they killed him off at the end of Dino Charge. The second half of Dino Charge, you see this like random villain called Heckle.
What's he look like?
He's just a guy. He's human.
Oh, right.
He looks human.
And Snide.
But then, at the beginning of Dino Supercharge.
Oh, you mentioned the Jekyll and Hyde style.
Yeah. So he basically becomes Heckle and Snide is the one that looks like one of the commanders from Dino Thunder. Yeah, he has like a big spiral on his head.
A what?
Yeah, if you've seen Dino Thunder, I'm not sure if he's in Abaranger actually.
Go on.
But if you've seen Dino Thunder, it's this. Actually, no, he is because they use him in Go Busters versus Kyoryuger. It's the commander that has a big spiral on his head with a stone in the middle. He's definitely in Abaranger, but he's used as he's much more pivotal to the plot in Dino Thunder.
So in Abaranger, he's not one of the main generals, though, is he?
He's a commander. He's a commander.
Which maker is he? Is he the artist or the instrumentalist?
No, neither of them. He's just like someone who fights on the battlefield. Because what you talking about, the artists of that, they just stay in that weird dimension.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about them.
Oh.
But if you've seen Go Busters versus Kyoryuger,
which I haven't,
They use like Griforza from Zyuohger and this guy. I can't remember his name in Abaranger. I think his name in Dino Thunder was Zoltrax or something. Anyway, so again, so that's Heckle and Snide. He's the, they are one person with two personalities. So again, so coming back to talking about these three episodes. So so he crashes. So again, and I can't remember his name. I think his name was Sniper or something. He comes down to Earth on an asteroid. He meets up with Heckle and Snide. Heckle likes him, Snide doesn't. And then you see him battling the Rangers, and then that's where they introduce, I can't remember what name they gave it, but what they called in Kyoryuger the Carnival mode for Red Ranger. So they introduced that, and they introduced quite a few things in these three. We're only on episode 5. I think episode 6 goes out today. We're only on 5 episodes. They've already introduced so much, and then and then through episode 5, which was the last one I watched, they do introduce the American equivalent of Kyoryusian. So I'll be honest, I was a bit taken aback by the revelation, because I thought that revelation wasn't going to come until much later. It was also, they kind of do some sort of some sort of like anti-aging warp thing or something. They're like, oh, the aqua crystals managed to keep you the same age. It's
so like the Fountain of Youth kind of thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, I guess it kind of made sense because you've got Koda, who's a Stone Age guy. He's the same age. You've got the guy from Xandar. He's the same age. So I guess it kind of makes sense as well. But it would have been cool if they'd got like an older actor to play, what they call the Aqua Ranger.
Cough, cough. Robert Baldwin.
Yeah, but that's it. They've not got. They could have done. I think a lot of people wanted that.
It would have been perfect.
During the recess between Dino Charge and Dino Supercharge, it was rumoured that the Aqua Ranger was going to be female. Not the case. But at the same time, it will be interesting to see where they go with the Aqua Ranger. But it leaves a massive question mark on who the Silver Ranger is going to be.
Well, in the Japanese Kyoryuger, then we know that the Silver Ranger is Torin. Which I thought was interesting.
We've had it revealed in like forms of trailers that Torin and Mad Torin are going to appear in Dino Supercharge. But whether Torin or whatever, they did reveal the names for Supercharge. But whether Torin's going to become a good guy and the Silver Ranger remains to be seen.
Right, here's a question though. Do you think, like in Kyoryuger, near to the end, do you think the Graphite, in your case, the Graphite Aqua Ranger, and the Violet, Purple Ranger, whatever the fuck you would call it, are going to have second gens in that one series?
I very much doubt it, because unlike Kyoryuger, where they had the gold stripe to signify that they died, even though they still use the gold stripe, there's no difference between alive or dead. They're all alive. So if they do that, it'd be a bit of a stretch and it'd be pointless. Whereas at least in Kyoryuger that made sense. But no, I think each ranger's designation's going to be their designation. I mean, again, they've already done the thing with the Purple Ranger like they did in Kyoryuger, where it was an old guy giving it to a young girl.
Oh, so they did.
Obviously, in Kyoryuger, it was grandfather to granddaughter. In Dino Charge last year, they just picked some random guy from New Zealand who gave it to the actual Alpha 5 of this series, Miss, what was her name? Miss, I can't even remember her name offhand,
Miss
but
Alpha
the assistant,
5.
Miss Alpha 5, yeah. That would have been cool if Alpha 5 actually became a Ranger or some sort of, like, apparatus for the Rangers, but clearly not. Well, actually, that might be corny as hell if they did it wrong, which they probably would have done.
Well, that's like saying Data's 2.0 gone wrong. Worse.
Don't even go there. Anyway, so I think, I might have missed a few bits, which we're going to cover next time, but I think that's all for Dino Charge for now.
Right. If you're done with the Dino Charge, right. this is where I would like to take a moment and apologize to the viewers in that my slagging offing to Power Rangers has been, I feel, a tad too much, seeing as after watching a cover version of an artist singing his rendition of all the Power Rangers, not Super Sentai, but Power Rangers, chronologically from Mighty Morphin all the way up to Super Megaforce, I forgot how much I like the original versions of Mighty Morphin, Zeo, Turbo, Space, Galaxy, Lightspeed, Time Force, SBD, and
But those,
Dino
that's where
Thunder.
you've heard up. That's where you've heard up to originally. I mean, SPD came after Dino Thunder, but that's what you've heard originally, isn't it?
Yes, those are the original ones, and just by the songs alone, I love them. I love the original versions anyway.
What did you think of him covering the ones that came after SPD?
I mean, I'm sorry, but Ninja Storm, his version of it still sounds like the original, to which I'm sorry I didn't like. And what was it?
Ninja Storm's
Yeah, exactly.
song was that. I don't know. I thought it was in the middle. But you're talking about ones I didn't like.
Right.
Hang
on, one moment. Okay, number one, his YouTube channel is called Pelek Official. So PELLEK Official, one word.
Just drop his link in the page, man.
Yeah. Otherwise, what I didn't know was Power Ranger Samurai was literally a modern. It's literally Mighty Morphin.
With Samurai Forever screaming it.
Yes.
That was what I was going to say. I mean, before you drop the channel link, I was saying that the ones I don't like are the ones that rip off the Mighty Morphin thing. Because Zeo, I felt, did that.
No.
Samurai, I felt. Zeo, even as a pre-adolescent, and even from when I first heard it right up until now, my opinion's been the same. No. I've never really liked it. Because they just screech out Zeo at you. What, stronger than before? Who cares? No, I didn't like it.
No, the words are different. I think it's like Mighty
Morphin,
but like a different style.
They've done the same chorus though, and I just kind of felt. And then again, Samurai is just screaming Samurai Forever.
See, Samurai is just Mighty Morphin. I
can't remember how they ripped it off for Megaforce.
It's literally strengths are forever. Megaforce, we are together, blah 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 thing. Yeah.
But have you actually heard the original Dino Charge thing?
Yes.
What did you think of it?
I actually like Dino Charge.
I like
Rangers Raw. That's
Dino Thunder.
Oh, sorry, Dino Thunder. I love. Sorry, Dino.
Have you heard Dino Supercharge? Is what I asked.
No.
Listen to it. I mean, it's definitely a lot better than Megaforce and Samurai, and definitely better than Zeo. I mean, I'd say the most controversial theme would have to be the one for Operation Overdrive.
Interesting.
No, because I mean, I kind of feel it's in the middle because it's so different, and I'm like, like this?
See, for me, the most classic ones will be Mighty Morphin, Zeo, Turbo. Shut up! I love Zeo. All the.
See, the Turbo one was all right again.
Shift to Turbo.
I remember, the thing is though, when I first heard the In Space theme, for some reason I really liked it compared to the previous.
Because it's so different.
But then, Lost Galaxy was also meh. Lightspeed Rescue was meh. Time Force had at least a bit of a kick to it.
It did. Time Force!
But, and then,
Power Rangers!
Right, what came after Time Force? That was Ninja Storm, which you didn't like. I mean, I thought it was meh. And then, what came after Ninja Storm? Dino Thunder.
I
it kind of
love.
felt a bit
I
corny.
see.
It felt
No,
corny
but
to me.
I love the
It
opening.
sounded like I should like it, but I felt it was a bit corny.
No, I liked it.
And then you had SPD, which absolutely kicks
Very
ass.
good.
Right?
Very.
And then the thing is, I think Mystic Force for me is a guilty pleasure. Have you heard the original? Right, because the Mystic Force was kind of a guilty pleasure, but then Operation Overdrive again, it was kind of like that, but a bit more acidic, if you will. Jungle Fury I didn't like,
No.
and then but you've not heard these.
No, I haven't. I will
and
mention
then
I have listened to.
RPM
No,
was actually
one second.
quite interesting.
One other original I did listen to, but I didn't like was Wild Force.
I forgot Wild Force. Yeah, Wild Force was
After Time Force.
I'm trying to remember how it went.
That's my point.
I know I've heard it. Oh well. Anything else you want to talk about theme-wise?
Theme-wise, honestly, I miss those originals really, but that's about it really.
But the thing is like when you had the Mighty Morphin era, it wasn't just about the OP. They had decent BGM, which again, they can't match it, because Mighty Morphin had its amazing, they released the soundtrack in full. I had that on cassette back in the day, and I've got it on MP3 now. It's an amazing soundtrack. It's very iconic. But they can't, they can do the OPs hit and miss, but they've not been able to capture a decent BGM since the original series.
One other thing I wanted to mention, and this is normally I don't do this, but I thought it was on Facebook through as I'm with various tokusatsu groups. One group posted a very interesting question.
Yeah, they tend to do that.
No. But this one, normally I wouldn't. I would just, okay, cool. Yeah, I just read it out, let it slide. But this one was very interesting that I thought I might bring this one up. And the question was, name all the riders, secondary riders that does not use a belt to henshin. My question...
Does that count people like Necron, though?
Yes. So basically the answer is D-End, Necron, the Bee, Sassord, and Drake. And I think...
to be more than that.
Oh, and Delta from Fires 2.
There has to be more than that. No, loads. I mean...
Oh, and the Hibiki series.
Well, ironically, I was going to say Wizard, but Wizard has a regular belt, but then Beast has just the belt.
No.
Oh, he has a regular belt as well.
No.
Okay.
The Bee has his wrist thing.
No, I was talking Beast.
Beast, yeah. Anyway, and Drive uses a shift changer and a belt. But anyway, look, my point...
What about the ones from Kabuto? Weren't they like clock up and stuff? Weren't they wrist related? Weren't they wrist henshin?
That's what I mean. The Bee, Sassord, and Drake are from Kabuto.
But what about Kabuto himself?
Belt.
Oh, whatever.
Kabuto and Gatak, they use the belt.
There has to be more. I mean, I'm obviously
my point is, do you feel, besides the disasterness of Necron, do you feel that it is better for tradition's sake for a secondary rider to have a belt, or to have their own unique style of a henshin device like D-End, which worked really well?
The thing is, now that you bring it up like this, I probably would have said it didn't matter before. I'll probably say when you bring it up like that, it kind of feels more natural, both main rider and secondary alike, to have a belt as part of the henshin.
For traditions.
But I'm kind of, because that, before I'd probably said indifferent wouldn't matter, but thinking about it, really thinking about it, I'd probably say the belt is kind of, again,
iconic.
Main rider, the secondary I like. It's not just traditional, iconic. It looks more natural.
See, the most recent...
they're interacting with themselves. Because again, alright, because, we're on Cougar right now. I mean, because Cougar has the belt, and you've not seen him turn purple yet. But by the time you get to about episode 8 to 10, he does just boom, he just appears. But I did like in Cougar how he's got the belt on, nothing happens, but as soon as he punches something, his whole arm, you see the armor appear.
I've seen that.
I thought that was really cool.
But then it takes away the whole finesse of henshin.
No, it doesn't, because he still does that for some odd reason.
But personally, just to answer my own question,
Brilliant.
on one hand, I would say Drive. Take Kamen Rider Drive as an example. Yes, Maha has his own.
All three of them are very OTT, and it kind of
No. But it felt more uniformed.
Chase, but the other two are way OTT.
No, but my point is Chase and Maha, their belts were uniformed, and I like that. That's what I mean. Like, at least they had semi-uniform. Whereas, say, take Meteor. Wait, one second. Take Meteor's belt, for instance. That is completely useless in my books. No. Like it having a disco ball, for instance. I just want to see a nice simplistic belt, though.
No, because I think simplistic belts are beyond us now. We're in the Neo Heisei era. Man.
True. I mean, the last time we saw a simplistic belt was maybe Blades to go with secondaries.
No. I mean, Deno was fairly simple.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Deno, Fies, and...
No, Fies was very clunky, to be fair. I mean, I mentioned this during our review, but I did like the fact that he had to take the belt in a suitcase.
Oh, no, sorry. Let me try that again. Not Fies, but at least they were slightly uniformed. But I meant Ryuki and Blade.
Blade, but then Deno, I believe Deno. And then, technically, when you look at Wizard's belt, it wasn't that complicated. But obviously,
you open a door.
More functionality. No, you're thinking of Beast.
Yeah,
Beast
that's why we're talking about. No, but we're talking about secondaries.
I liked how Wizard's one was alright, fair enough. But I was just talking about belts in general. Like he had the hand on it. I liked when he clicked it and shit.
See, if Beast got that hand belt, the Wizard driver.
Because what's his name? Because White Wizard had that. Wiseman had that.
Yeah, Wiseman
had a white hand. He had a white.
Yeah, it worked. Why couldn't that Beast have a gold hand for like?
Because it was because that's the thing. He was a. Beast,
he was an archaeologist that he got. Yeah.
No, because it was a different type of. He was a different type of wizard.
Oh yeah. His
one was like an ancient form, and again, you always had Wise Man saying, "Oh, I don't consider you a Mahoska at all." It kind of made sense for the story, in my opinion. Fair. I mean, again, it doesn't look. It can make you feel a bit disjointed because it doesn't look uniform, but it's justified within the story.
See, that's the thing. It works in the story, and that's why I prefer uniform. Really,
I think people who are a little OCD will prefer uniform just so it all looks neat and the same. But I like, again, because you look at it, it feels disjointed. But I like how it's justified.
The most uniform I've seen, Ryuki, Blade.
No, that's it. You can't call Ryuki uniform because they start off with belts, but then, as you mentioned in our review, you've then got what's his name, the Cobra guy with his Cobra staff, and then you've got Phoenix with his alternative. And
but they hench him with the belts though.
Whatever. But again, it's still not quite uniform in Ryuki. Well, only because there's so many of them, but still.
But then also pushing it, Fies is also uniform as well with their belt.
Right? Because at the end of the day,
Fies and Kaiser
Gaim was definitely uniform. You can't deny.
Really, you're going with Gaim.
No, right? Because at the end of the day, all their belts are the same. Then all the Genesis belts are the same.
I knew you were going to bring
that was it. But that's it, because at the end of the day, they were all developed by Ryoma.
True.
So of course they're going to be uniform. I mean, obviously the actual aesthetics of the henshin suit.
But at the end of the day, here's what I'm going to ask: what's your input on it?
On what?
secondary riders? Should they be the same, or should they be uniformed, or should they have something different?
I think now that I've already mentioned Wizard, I think it's very plot. I think it depends on the plot. Well, it depends on the synopsis. It depends on the actual story. It depends on the setup. So, like Wizard, they had a good setup. With Gaim, it made sense because it was all developed by Yugizadrill. Let me think. I mean, because like you look at Drive, for example. Again, it's vaguely justified by the fact that it's made by the belts were made by different people. You look at Ghost at the moment. If anything, they could be different, but Ghost and Spectre have the same belt, so that could have been justifiably different. Yet, let me think. I mean, again with Ryuki, I kind of felt that they were neither here nor there, and they could have again. It's a very minor point to be blown up, but they could have done something very contrastingly different. But they kind of started off being systematically uniform, and then as you got to the later riders, it was like they were running out of ideas or they were getting bored of the same thing. So that's when they did bring in the Cobra staff, for example. Yet something like, let's see, another example. Again, Fires, they looked somewhat different, but that could have been uniform. That's my opinion.
Well, that's me upon the not our regular show talks kind of thing.
Alright, so moving on. I'm going to briefly cover the fact that I have watched the Kamen Rider Drive special, Type Lupin. This was special. Right,
I was gonna. Do you know? Most likely, don't quote me on this, but do you know where Lupin? The origin of Lupin. Okay, Lupin is I believe, a French thief, if I'm not mistaken, a burglar.
Oh, really? Okay. I was going to think you were going to go with Lupin's French for rabbit, which is actually lapin, but never mind. Go on.
But the most common is the Japanese anime movies and TV series that I can't remember which order it is. I think it's the TV series, then they've made movies of it, countless amounts of it, called Lupin the Third. And it is such a hilarious, very comical, action-based theft movie and such. So I will not be surprised if there is like an Easter egg already in that alone from Lupin the Third.
Well, he is a thief, as you rightly pointed out. But it's, again, coming to Type Lupin, I'm not even sure where I saw him before. It was either in the crossover or in the Tyson films. I'm not even sure where I saw him previously. Or he might have even been in the series. I don't think he was, though, to be fair.
Wasn't he in... No, he wasn't in Surprise Drive. No, wait, no, that's...
No, I haven't seen Surprise Drive yet. I'm going to be talking about that in the next Toku Talk. But, Lupin, whatever you want to call him, I'm not sure which film I saw him in before, or what special I might have seen him before, but I know I've seen him before. I think it might have been in the crossover with Gaim. So it's basically a 10-minute special of he has his power nicked, but then the guy who nicked, but then the Roy Mudo, the word I spent most of last year mispronouncing.
You sound like just like that police officer, Roy Chocho, or whatever the hell.
Whatever. Right, so you've got the Roy Mudo. You got the Roy Mudo.
You sound like you want to fucking
shut up.
And I award this water bottle to you for best pronunciation, then, if you want.
Right, so the Roy Mudo. You got the bad guy from Drive. You got one bad guy from Drive who nicked Lupin's power, and starts going around imitating him, and Drive's kind of like, oh, but I thought you wasn't going to take me on anymore, and then it turns out it wasn't even him in the first place, because it was the other guy, and then he randomly turns up, he's like, oh, I wanted you to fight him so you could beat him, and then I could take my gun back, and then he takes his gun back and leaves. It's like, what's the point in this?
Did it work?
No.
Was it pointless?
Yes.
Okay.
So, let's move on to Zyuohger. Alright, so our final topic for today is Zyuohger.
Did Lupin, Kamen Rider Lupin, did he look good in any retrospect?
Yeah, he looked alright. I mean, he looked a bit lumpy, but I think that was his motif anyway. I mean, you called him Kamen Rider Lupin. He actually, because again, wherever I saw him from before, I remember he specifically said he was dropping the Kamen Rider title, so he's just called Lupin in the special.
Ooh, touche.
Yeah, well, again, because I know you've not seen anything related to him, whereas I know I have, I just can't remember where. Anyway, so let's move on to Dobutsu Sentai Zyuohger.
Okay, this is gonna get in.
Now I am actually on episode 3, so I've watched episodes 1, 2, and 3 now. So, what do you think of the OP?
Let's see. Wait, no, I'm gonna get to Zords. I'm gonna get to Zords later. What I will start with is
OP. No, I'll start with the OP. I mean,
okay.
I'm actually liking. Well, do you want to start?
Only if you don't mind.
Go.
I have to admit, I like the opening from. Even I did listen to the sneak preview, as they normally do on JV. Yeah. But I actually like the opening. Each week I listen to it, I do like it. It's one of those I would actually want to hear it and then lead on to the episode, as opposed to, oh, I have to endure, if that makes sense. I actually like this opening. It's actually...
No, you see, Alright, go on.
I was going to say, I actually like it in that it's a nice build up. Well, I don't want to jinx it in the... Oh, go on.
No, you see, because when I heard the sneak preview as well, I actually really hated it. Now I just don't mind it, because, like, watching episodes 1 to 3, when it comes to the end, I'm going to batch this together. Because listening to the ending thing, I didn't like it at first. Now I don't mind it as well. Because, like, what I'm sensing is that, they're really going back to their roots, and they're trying to appeal more to their child audience. Their child target audience.
Do you feel a pattern?
I'm kind of like, look, at the end of the day, I love Kamen Rider Necrom's BGM because it's really edgy and stuff. Whereas this is very subtle, so, I'm not hating it now, but I'm not minding it. It could be so much better, but I'm rolling with it. I'm letting it flow. It kind of calms me down. I'm kind of taking it as its calming element. And and again, they are being a bit try hard with the end themes dance. They don't need to do that. It's a nice theme. It's not my style of listening. But yet it's still very calming, and it doesn't have to be has to be amazing. It's just nice. If you could just appreciate it for its nice quality, you don't need to criticise it. I mean, again, when I first heard the OP, I really didn't like it. When I first heard the ending, I really didn't. Which I didn't hear the ending until the end of the first episode, so I didn't know what it was going to sound like. I mean, because again, I obviously heard the sneak peek like you did long before episode 1 even aired. But, so where I didn't like either of them on the first thing, I'm now sort of like, I'm not minding it, it's not meant to appeal to me anyway. And, it's more for their target audience, but, on that respect, I can respect it, so I'll flow with it.
What I will say is,
whether it appeals to the kids of today is another thing, but, go on.
Story in general, I'm interested. I'm actually interested. After episode 2? Or even at the end of episode 1 even, I was really interested.
Like the story in general.
I really want to see where they go with it. Because after episode 1, they left so many questions. After episode 2, it was interesting how
So you're liking the cliffhangers?
Some. And episode 3 was our first real insight to a character development kind of episode.
I guess. I liked what they did with Zyuohger.
Yes.
Amu.
Yeah. It was a...
And it's like, I think, I don't know, I might be wrong on this, but I think they've got like a somewhat older actress for her. Because she seems quite mature. I mean, if anything, Joe Shark seems to be the young one in here.
Are we talking actual age?
Yeah, both.
See,
bearing in mind they're meant to be Zyuohger who are a million years old from a different dimension anyway, but still.
See, I see where you're going with this, but...
It might be interesting to see how old they actually are, because I don't, because when I first saw her, I thought she was really young, but when you see her act, when you see her character in episode 3, it's like there's a bit more maturity to her, even though she was spending the first episode, like episode 2 and the first half of episode 3 just bouncing around. Like,
and this is another thing I was going to mention. Like, we vaguely mentioned in the past that the whole general concept is that to fix the cube for the Jewmen to go home is basically an instant Easter egg towards Gasage's style of a story where they need to fix
but
the...
This is what
hang on. No, I was going to mention that, like, like Gasage's fix the stairway to heaven for them to go home, but I felt that the concept, the build-up, the story, the cliffhangers is so good that I forgot the atrocity of Gasage's Easter egg out the door.
That's kind of the thing, though. I mean, because I was going to mention this a little later, but that's kind of one of my worries. Is where because I mentioned how the music's subtle. I'm feeling that where it's somewhat subtle in its outset, I'm feeling that's what Ghosager was. I'm fearing that.
Oh, you're fearing that it's like, okay, this is good, and then it's going to plummet.
It's going to like be bland, because again, it's a very nice story. I mean, I mentioned where we're talking about the first 3 eps now. I mentioned a while back how I'd read the character bios. So, like, I don't know whether this was implanted into my brain from reading the bios, but I remember, like, reading Yamato's Joe Eagle's bio or character description, and it kind of came off, like, he's caring, he's like the parent of the group, blah blah blah. That made me instantly think of Geki from Zyuohger, and when I see these first 3 episodes, he is very Geki-esque from Zyuohger, and
we had this talk in that we compared him to Geki.
I compared him
to Geki, but then there was also a reference of, like, we talked about it, like, sort of past Reds, if there was anything like it, and
we talked about this with just so people, just in case people might be a bit confused. We talked about this with Dragon Zeron from Tokusatsu Network, on his podcast. But basically, you look at the previous Reds. There are, I mean, again, I'm getting a strong, specifically talking about Yamato. I specifically see a lot of Geki. I see a touch of Alata from Tokuja, that's Toku Ichigo.
Yeah.
And, there are bits of others. And I don't think, because the one thing I really loved about Geki from Zyuohger was, he was the caring type and you could see his weakness. But then you look at your Captain Marvelous, you look at your Akashi from Bokenja. These were like 2 examples of very strong Reds. So with Yamato, he's still very he's very mentally strong, unlike Geki, but he's got that very sort of compassionate element to him. I mean, I love how, like, the setup for him was a bit corny at the beginning of episode 1, to be fair, but again, it's a very, I'm getting from these first 3 episodes that it's going to be a very subtle series. It's not going to be as, because when you had all the reveals leading up to Ep 1, people were like making fun of it. Oh, they're trying to rip off Minecraft, blah blah blah. It's all in your face. you don't like the Sharpie look, as you keep saying.
The what? No, I
But
don't. But
Sharpie.
I'll explain to
But
people what I mean
it's
by the Sharpie.
because at the end of the day, well, you've explained it a million times already. But
Thanks.
the general feel for the series is that it's a subtle one.
Mm.
It's like, because even the end dance, they're trying to be a bit OTT, but it's still not heavy.
It's mellow.
I mean, it's mellow. Oh, you've taken a good word right out of my mouth.
They've really,
at the end of the
I
day,
don't want to say
Ninja,
dulled down, but they've really toned down in the whole
I'd
concept.
say they've toned it down.
But here's where I'm gonna intrude and say, as much as I like the pace they're going, I like the mellowness, right? I'm not gonna deny that. But here's the but coming in.
Kids in Japan like that, though.
One second. But here's where I'm gonna kick in and saying that as much as I'm the pace, but where is that pace gonna go? Is it gonna be good, or like monotonous, or plummet?
That's it, though. I think it will be one. It could be either or both of those.
Because just by seeing these first couple of episodes, granted, I'm looking forward to. I am interested where it goes, but there is no. I cannot. I cannot see where it goes. That's the thing. It could go anywhere.
Here's a prediction. I'm not going to say I'm right or wrong, but one thing I really hope they don't do is what Zyuohger did in bringing more than one sort of group of villains. I believe they should run with the Death Galleon thing from beginning to end, make it stronger and better. That's my opinion.
Like a Gokaiger style.
No. Because Zyuohger, you had like the one family, then you see more members of the family, and then you had Basco bouncing around.
No, but hang on,
hold on. But what I'm referring to is you got Bokenja, which had lots of villains, but they were all operating at the same time. Whereas Zyuohger, they had one, killed them off, had another, killed them off, and then the third killed them off, and you had the one commander that went from group to group and then became the super general.
You're aware that you could just as well say Magi Ranger, but then their story actually worked.
Right, that's it. Magi Ranger actually worked. I mean, again, Zyuohger worked, Bokenja worked, you just mentioned Magi Ranger, that worked. Zyuohger, in my opinion, didn't. And I'm worried that they're going to kill off, because I actually think...
Actually, one other.
The ironic thing is,
Geki Ranger worked.
Geki Ranger, it was mainly the guys from the temple anyway. They were all from Ritsu Gugata, weren't they?
Yeah, but then you had Long.
But Long was always bouncing around in the background. He was the guy that influenced Rio, if you remember. But coming back to this, the one thing I'm like, you've got the Death Galleon, and they've got a really good concept. They've got a really good look.
Agreed.
I mean, because even the last monster of the week was some shooting guy. He kept shooting everything up. I mean, so even if they're doing like childish monsters of the week, it can still kind of work.
Agreed.
But yet, the one thing I'm finding interesting is, and I've mentioned this before, the concept they've got for Death Galleon, they're going to take that through to the American adaptation of Ninja. I mean, I'm not sure which side came up with it first, Bandai America or Bandai Japan.
Wait. They're bringing Death Galleon into...
No, you've misunderstood me. The idea, the blood game, which they call it in...
Oh.
They're doing that concept for the Zircoin for Ninja Steel, which is what they're calling the villains for the Ninja adaptation.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I think it could go either way. Because to be fair, I heard about the Zircoin baddies from Ninja Steel before I knew about the Death Galleon.
Right.
So again, it could go either way.
Right. Here's my pro with Death Galleon. I love how
there's no real con for me. I actually really do.
I love how they all look. That really ill feel to it.
The base looks.
I mean,
amazing.
Here's the thing. As much as I'd love to compare it with Gokaiger's,
You're not talking about
Zangiak, thank you. I want to compare, but I can't because this is independent. This is so unique on its own.
At the end of the day, I will say that the Death Galleon look a little sharper than the Zangiak, but I'm still going to say, and I said this with Dragon Zeron, that it looks a little sharper than the Zangak, but not as sharp as the villains from Go Busters, like Mentor and Messier and all that. And I'm also liking, we're going to come on to Mecha now, so I'm going to say in general, I do like how they're not so CGI heavy this series. Especially like the mecha. I mean, alright, sure, you see the cubes come down, but when you see the transformation, when you see the the combining, they're not doing it CGI. You can see the shit flipping, LOL.
See, this is where I'm interested where this mech goes, because it's really unique.
Not just you, but a lot of people spent a lot of time
wrapping their head around.
No, like wrapping their head around it, just insulting the look, and just panning the giraffe.
Well, not just that. I'm sorry, but it's literally Minecraft. And I'm not going to deny, it is Minecraft.
No, see, at the end of the day, I'm not a fan of Minecraft. I've seen enough of my friends play it, but I'm not really into Minecraft. And the fact that this is very cubic in its theme, I don't really care. But okay. I do like how, again, they've taken it from Shinkenja, I guess, like the whole monsters in my pockets.
But at least with Shinkenja.
But the thing is, the mecha on their own seem a bit poo. And again, you mentioned Shinkenja, and I mentioned Shinkenja.
No, but one second. 2 seconds on that one, though. You mentioned about Shinkenja, right? Each of those animals actually creates some shape, and they actually look like said animal. And they actually... And they can actually form into a cohesive bot. I like that. One second. But with this, it's merely a stack of cubes, which
this is what I'm saying, because when you look at Shinkenja, again, it was monsters in my pocket. They started off as like a shape, like a triangle or a square or an octagon or some shit. And then when they became a mecha, they could actually fight on their own. So like I think the blue one was a dragon, wasn't it?
Which one? Shinkenja, yes.
Shinken Blue, and the dragon could fight and stuff.
So Shinken Red had a lion, Shinken Blue had the dragon.
Yeah, like Shinken Pink was like a twirling turtle.
It's a turtle. Shinken Green had a bear, and
coming back to Zyuohger, these mecha cannot fight on their own. I think they tried to attempt that in episode 3, but it's just not cohesive enough, in my opinion.
How do you mean?
And then. It's not very inarticulate thing, it's a cube, like a little head pops out and some little limbs pop out the cube. It's still very cubic. They are just a big cube with limbs. What's the point? Yet, and then when it comes to the Gatai, it's literally you stack 3 cubes up and then you skewer it, and then the head twists, and then the legs separate, and then the arms pop, and then the arms fold around. What's the point?
See, this is where I'm really gonna grill. I've seen 2 different reviews on the deluxe Duo King. The legs do not even split. I'm serious.
But that's the thing. In the show, it looked, the Duo King looks good. The Duo King with green and white looks good. Looks even better.
I actually agree.
And then, because I did see the promo for the deluxe Duo King, and it did look a bit blocky.
It is.
It's like,
No, that's the thing. All it is just this.
But that's the thing. But on the show, it does look good. And then, again, I've heard over the last few months, people especially you, the giraffe. What the hell? I mean, again, I felt, I was a bit like WTF with the giraffe as well. But in the show, again, the mecha, the Duo Cube, the Kirin Cube, looks a bit, and then right at the end, you have it just sort of pottering around the house. It's like, okay, that's a bit comical. But when they use it as an armament, I think that's quite a good weapon for them to have.
See, that's the thing. I like the
It's
bazooka.
insane. It
I
is.
like the bazooka. I feel it's a modernized take on Gal Ranger, if that makes sense.
Well, it generally is. The whole concept is
No,
anyway.
but I feel it's modernized.
But again, I was a bit surprised that it wasn't as bad as everyone made it out to be. I think maybe I got caught up in everyone's negativity a bit, and I actually think it's all right as a bazooka.
Um,
But they do combine with it eventually, I think.
what?
They actually combine with the queuing thing.
See, it's
in a way.
not combined. It's just you.
No,
Just
at this moment in time, episode 3, it's literally just
you hold it. You hold it over
But
your
I
shoulder.
think they do combine with it later on. I think.
See, this is where it gets interesting. On J Fusion and most likely some other networks, it's been announced fairly early on that we've already been announced the Super Megazord, which is called Duo Wild, if I'm not mistaken, which is a concept of 9 cubes. Not only the 5 that you have, which is the eagle, lion, tiger, shark, elephant, but then you get now I've got to get this right now, the gorilla, the bear, I'll get this, a mole, if I'm not mistaken, and I think the giraffe, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it mole or an armadillo? But anyway, something
Either
like
way.
that. But my point is,
to look forward to, I guess.
see, this is the thing. And one reference that one of the reviewers said, and his username is Bulk Matrix, that channel, he said, and quote, that, and he actually mentioned about the Duo World, in that we're most likely leading into a very Go-Onja style G12 clusterfuck, most likely. After seeing Duo World and then after listening to what he said, I won't be surprised.
No, don't get caught up in negativity, blood. Anyway, so I think, alright, so moving on, I think this is going to be the last topic.
And just for those that are interested as to what the hell I'm on about in regards to Sharpie marks, is in regards to the suits that I still do not like the whole images that they look like someone drew a Sharpie with it.
Brilliant. Right, my last point, hopefully this will be the last point, is how in the story-wise, Joe Eagle, Yamato, they are, in episode 3 you see him, getting traits of the eagle.
Yeah.
I think that's quite interesting. I mean, because we've got this mysterious figure who's clearly got the sick cube. They're looking for the sick cube, even though he's got it, but they don't know
according
that. That's how they come
not
across
just
the
that.
cube.
Not just that,
but then just the way he's able to have all these eagle-like traits, I think is quite interesting.
Agreed. Granted,
it'd be awesome if Peter Parker from Spider-Man, he became the man spider. You see Yamato, oh no, I'm mutated into an eagle. That'd be insane.
Anywho, but I love how, of course, the Jew-man's shark can pretty much. No, bad example. Say elephant has high sensitivity of smell.
Yeah, but that's all bog standard, really.
But it's interesting
the fact that Yamato starts becoming like an eagle. I thought that was specifically interesting.
Agreed that he gains the trait. I like that. And already just in the third episode in, I'm curious where this is going.
Oh well, yeah, I'm curious too.
And one for the buck is, I'm actually more invested in Zyuohger than Ghost.
I think I am as well, to be honest, but I'm still holding out for Ghost.
See,
and I do like Necrom. I think Necrom's awesome.
Necrom or Alan?
Yeah, Alan Summers. I don't know. Like Alan Summers, I reckon he's just going to cave in and be Takaru's friend.
Oh,
In
for
the end.
fuck's sake.
But I'm talking about the aesthetics of Necron, the
Yeah.
suit, the music, the fighting style, Mega Rudo, and stuff.
I'm indifferent on Necrom, I'm sorry.
No, I really like Necron. Oh well.
Anywho,
Let's wrap it up.
Right, so you're done, I'm done. So that has been our fortnightly review, that being of Toku Talk. As always, do like, comment, subscribe, the usual.
Like, comment, follow, subscribe.
Do you want to try that again without failage? But no, too
Yeah,
late.
like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube.
Ideally, with some more enthusiasm next time, I'll let you.
That was enthusiastic.
Oh, that sounded a bit more, but anyway. But as usual, yeah. So, as always, I've been Master Bushido, he's been my Toku Bro on the other side of that being Flayvaman! And as always, do join us next time, and as always, it's Physicam!
This for the cam. See you next time.